Does this mean what I think it means?
Hello, you beautiful people! David here, or Sin City Yeti, or just Yeti, whichever you prefer. And I guess there's no hiding it now. You already know what this video is about. Okay, that's all you get for now. So, yeah, I'm trying something new today. I have never customized a plushie in my life. In fact, I am not a great sewer. My husband is the one that sews. My sister got the sewing gene in the family. She sews amazing dresses. She's made plushes. She's done that stuff. I've never done it. I've more been a painter, a crafter with paper, drawer, that kind of stuff. So this is very new to me, and I'm a little intimidated because, like, Moriah merch. I'm customizing Moriah merch. I have to make sure it goes good, but I also don't know how I'm going to customize it. So, what's that? A challenger has appeared.
Hi guys, I'm Cassie from the Cassie Projects, and I am here to reveal the exciting challenge today. David, as we are both Pokemon nerds, I thought it was right to give you a Pokemon-esque theme, maybe with a specific energy type. We've got fire, water, electric, metal, but I know you quite enjoy painting bugs. I've seen that from your Create This Book series that you started. So I am going to challenge you to transform your Moriah plush and give him a grass energy vibe about him.
Gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all.
Oh gosh. And as an extra little challenge, this is like a little sneaky one to remind you guys of me. Incorporate a frog in there. I like frogs. I've got frogs. Do you want to see my frogs? I can't wait to see what you create.
Pokemon! I have to turn these into Pokemon? Okay, I do love my Pokemon, and I do know a lot about Pokemon, but turning Moriah Elizabeth characters into Pokemon? I think I might be able to do it, but I guess we're gonna have to find out what I got first. So let's get these guys opened up and see what I'm working with. So we're starting with this box, and let's see. Eustace, ooh, okay. That might be a little bit of a challenge. There's a lot going on, but let's go see what we got in this next box. All right, so now that I got this taken care of, go away. Let's see, which ones can I get? I kind of would like Pumpy, maybe Georgie, I don't know, but let's open up and see what we got. This one's got extra tape. Why is it sealed so much? Oh my goodness, making me work for this one.
It's Georgie.
I got Georgie. Okay, well, as much as I love them, they're both super cute. I don't know how I'm gonna turn them into Pokemon. I mean, I guess I could do like a Ludicolo, maybe a new cat. I don't know, but we gotta go do some planning. So let's sketch out some ideas. So I think Eustace might be the easiest one to work with in this situation just because it's a single color. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sketching out like what I'm working with, its basic parts, so I can kind of like plan out some ideas, search up some inspiration. Eustace has got this mint chocolate chip theme going on, so I'm looking into like chocolate and how did mint pair up with chocolate in human history. Found out it's actually from Europe. Chocolate was super bitter, and they would use different herbs and spices to sweeten it up, and that's how mint ended up getting paired with chocolate. And so I'm thinking like looking back at that time period and what kind of elements can I incorporate that with, like a cocoa bean and some mint leaves. And I'm sketching out this idea, although I'm not really liking the brown color I'm using. And I'm kind of thinking I might need to actually like repaint Eustace if I'm gonna do this. So I'm kind of like trying to figure out what exactly is gonna need to change on it. So I sketched out another one to just see if it, like how it would look in white, but I'm kind of torn. So I decided to like look into something else, and I was thinking maybe I could add a Froakie to this since I have to incorporate a frog of some kind. And I'm pairing up felt colors with what I'm gonna need to do. And I'm like, I kind of like the white. Let's see this a little bit bigger. So I went ahead and re-sketched it out, changed up a few different details, added a couple things. And I do kind of like the white coloring a little bit better, and I think it all blends together more, but something happened. Before I could start sketching out my idea for Georgie, my husband came along and decided, I like Georgie, so I'm getting you 2 new boxes to see what you get, to see if you can get a second Georgie. So we're gonna go ahead and open up these second boxes and see what I can get in them.
It worked!
And I got Burp. Ooh, I kind of like Burp. Burp, that's a good one to get. So let's get the second box open and see what I can get in it. Opening it up if I can. Oh my goodness. And okay, well, I guess it didn't matter if I got a second Georgie or not. My husband was taking Georgie anyways.
Georgie!
But Strawberry works. So with the energy types, with the grass energy type, Strawberry works really well. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stretch you all out, Strawberry, but I needed to see what I was working with your fabric. And it is super stretchy fabric, almost like softer than the other two, it seems like. And so I'm trying to like figure out like, what can I do with this? Seeing if I could potentially put it into a different position because it is a bear. Oh, Dexter. I made this right after I had to say goodbye to my Dexter. It was also one of my first times using alcohol markers. But I could talk about Dexter at a different time. Today, we need to get making some Pokemon, turning these Moriah characters into Pokemon. So I kind of sketched out the basic body shape. It is shaped like a potato, so kind of easy to work with, but at the same time, not very easy to work with. Pairing up the colors of the felt with Strawberry and seeing like, what could I do? What would I possibly add to change up the position, make it look more like a Pokemon? And I'm kind of getting the idea that it doesn't matter which of Moriah Elizabeth's plushes I use, I'm gonna have to do some painting. So I'm just kind of going with it. Let's stick with my ideas. And I got this kind of like bear down. I like the Strawberry bear, but now it's Burp's turn. So now I gotta sketch out Burp, do the different positions to kind of like get an idea for what I wanna do. And it's kind of dawning on me that Burp does kind of have a starter Pokemon shape, which could be fun to incorporate. And I started getting like this little vision. And for some reason, Burp kind of felt like it went with pansies. So I kind of followed that idea. I just kind of went with it. Like did a pansy leaf on the tail, put some pansy petals around the head. We already have some Pokemon like that, but it might work. But there's so much going on and I've never customized a plushie before. So I'm gonna need someone to experiment on. And I think I'm gonna experiment on Strawberry because it's incorporating a lot more of the elements that I have to work with. Like I have clay, felt, and paint. So I shoved in those arms and wanted to see if I could make some arms out of felt. So of course I made these cylinders, put them in the arm spots, and I'm thinking like maybe I could help shape it and make it look like an actual arm is on Strawberry. Cutting out some of the different things because I'm like, that looks a little weird and I've already hot glued it. I don't know if I can go back now. Using cotton balls to kind of stuff into the arms to add a little bit more support to hold their cylinder shape. And I'm just kind of like going with it. We're just exploring, we're just experimenting. It's okay, let's make some different shapes. And I'm thinking like, oh, I could hot glue the felt together and then I could turn it inside out for like some new legs. But that was when I realized it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna be able to turn this inside out. It's just not gonna work with felt. And I got kind of stuck. I didn't really like this. I got the felt glued on, I got these leg pieces, and it's not working out. So I went ahead and finished up cutting the leaves that I wanted to put around its neck and figured, let's try some air dry clay. And so I melded them into the shapes that I needed for arms. I tried hot gluing them at first. They did not stick. They kept coming up. So now I got like this patch of hot glue that is just embedded into the fabric of Strawberry and the arms popping off. But I'm still choosing to move forward. I do have a couple backups. And then I'm using cotton balls around the ears to kind of plump them up and give them some new shape. I wanted to try to get like a Strawberry shape. And I went over the cotton balls with white fabric paint. You will see why a little bit later, but this worked out really well. I kind of liked it. I also did the same thing for the tail. It was a little crooked. And then my camera decided to cut out and I lost an hour and a half of my video. So I apologize for that. You didn't get to see me put Strawberry into a straitjacket, but here's what it looks like. Poor little Strawberry. So what I ended up using was I used some super strong adhesive, like contact cement, as well as plumber's tape. I like using plumber's tape because the glue doesn't stick to it and it doesn't stick to itself, nor does it leave a sticky residue. So plumber's tape I have used in my crafting a lot. Just if you were ever curious about that, plumber's tape is a great way to hold on to projects if you need them to dry and glue. But now it's time for me to bust out Strawberry.
This is the part when I break free.
Looking a little sketchy with this, but we got to cut off all of this plumber's tape to see how the gluing worked. And the arms are staying down. That's a good start. Let's check these legs. They're a little heavier. And everything is sticking pretty well. Sitting up. Got a nice weight on the bottom, not falling over. Okay, so air dry clay can attach to fabric using contact cement. And yeah, I kind of like this. The feet are looking a little too big though, so I'm gonna have to cut those down. See how that looks if I cut it down, because I know you can cut air dry clay. But I kind of like this. I think I can move forward. So the only thing that's really tripping me up though are the legs. You can still see Strawberry's legs behind, but I'm thinking maybe I can cover that up with felt. Maybe I could cover it up with paint, but I wanted to see how the paint was gonna look too. So I went ahead and brushed some paint on the felt to see what it would look like dry compared to Strawberry, like how much darker is it going to dry, and actually not too much darker. So I went ahead and grabbed some paint to make the colors that I need.
Instant replay, please.
Oh, well, that's a little messy. Yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and get out the paint I need, and I'm gonna go clean off my hands really quick. So, don't want to really waste too much paint. Took me a minute to get it all off my hands, so we're gonna fast forward through this part. Yeah, I'm a little surprised at how long it took me to notice that the paint sprayed out a lot further than just on my hand. How did I miss that? I cannot believe I missed the glowing pink on my mat and on Barry's leg. So, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and get that cleaned up. That I just thought that was quite amusing. That was how do you miss all that paint? My word, David, pay attention. Blah. So take two. I went ahead and blended in some regular acrylic paint with the fabric paint. I am using a higher grade acrylic, which already has some flexibility to it, but mixing it with the fabric paint really will add to that flexibility it has and add to its sturdiness for any kind of plastic. Plus, I'm just painting it on the clay at the moment, but it's a pretty good match, so I'm going ahead and moving forward. We're testing it out now on the dried strawberries, adding that kind of color, and since she is wet all over, I kind of got to hang her to dry. So I'm gonna see you tomorrow, Miss Strawberry, as soon as you stop swinging. All right, you have a good night. But while she was drying, I went outside and the sky was absolutely beautiful. Look at it. It looked like an orange dreamsicle. Such a pretty sky. But after some time, let's go check on Strawberry. She's all dry, so now I need to start adding in the next little elements. So I got the leaves all cut out for the leaves around her neck, but I want to add some leaves around the Strawberry. I was thinking I was going to paint it green, but I kind of didn't like the circle of white around her booty. So I decided to just cover it in green felt, getting her all together. And she's starting to come together. Like, I am now really seeing the vision of what I sketched out, my idea. She's coming to life, adding a few more colors, and yeah, now it's time for us to move on to her face. So I'm covering up her mouth to make it look like a muzzle, covering up her eyes so that they could be almost like cheeks. And I'm gonna move her eyes a little further up on her head and give her more Pokemon-esque eyes. So I went in with this brown. I felt like black would have just been a little too harsh, but since I gotta let it dry, I'm moving on to a different part, painting up the strawberries, adding in all the little seeds, and getting her booty, her ears, and I just was not paying attention very well while I was painting this, as careful as I thought I was being. Yeah, that's when you right there, yep, just right across the eye. And I tried cleaning it off with some water, but the paint was adhered. It was stuck. It was not coming off. So I decided to just let it dry, mix up a little bit more pink, and we're just gonna kind of hide it a little bit. This is just my experiment one, but I am really liking it. So I do still want it to look nice. After the face dried, went in, added the muzzle, the mouth, added in some little eye shinies, checked on everything. Time to let her dry again for the last time. Look at how she's looking. So from the sketchbook to a Moriah plush into a Pokemon. Gotta get her down, get the camera all situated since she's still hanging and drying. And look at her. Untwist your little hangy part, and everything is very dry. The cotton balls actually did provide the perfect little medium to make strawberries around the ears and the tail. I do like that. We're not gonna look at the bottom. I didn't quite finish the bottom. But from the top and from the side and every other part, yeah, this is looking fantastic. So we have Baria now, and let's see, we gotta do the actual challenge. So even though Baria does count as a Pokemon, I can do Hustis, but Eustace looks like it's going to be a lot more work. So Burp's already got this kind of like similar shape to Charmander, so it's kind of got that right vibe. It's looking a little derpy and kind of cute. Got some like Dragonite vibes to it. Eustace is going to be a lot more work, but I think we're going to go with Burp, looking at everything I'm going to need to do to him. So we got to bring Burp into the picture. There we go. Now I got to see what I need to change about Burp. So we got these cheeks. I don't really like the cheeks. It's not very Pokemon-esque. So I'm going to have to change the cheeks, where I'm going to put the mouth and the teeth. I'm going to have to cover up part of the nostrils, make the eyes bigger. Oh, I'm going to have to cut down part of the frills so we can get these petals put on. And I'm just kind of like figuring out how much am I going to have to paint. These splotches as well. There's a lot of them, and that's very detailed for Pokemon, but I think we can do something to make it work. So I found the colors of felt that I need to kind of make these pansy petals, but I'm going to need a couple more. So I'm checking out the purples, seeing which one really works with the color scheme. It's still not finalized. I'm not going to end up going with that color purple. I do end up going with the darker one, but I'm going to go ahead and start cutting out the colors I know for a fact that I'm going to use. So cutting out the shapes of the petals, and then I pull up my reference, because references, you got to use your references. It's going to make your art look better.
We're gonna turn this sow's ear into a silk purse.
And I kind of want to do like this more Pokemon-esque look for a pansy petal. So they do tend to have a gradient across them, but Pokemon doesn't use gradients too often unless it's more like a legendary Pokemon, and I'm not making a legendary Pokemon. So I'm kind of like doing these like little jagged, more playful lines on the pansy petals themselves, adding in the purple. And as you can see, I went with the darker to go more with what my reference was looking like. Cut out the shape that I'm going to need for the tail, and now I'm going to be gluing all of these pieces together. I love the fact that the felt glued so well to Barry that I'm not struggling at all with the idea of using pansy petals on this. So just putting them all together and making sure I'm putting them in the right spot. Got to do the bottom first, the sides, going in with the top next. That's when like I'm really starting to see it, and oh my goodness, Burp is looking absolutely adorable. I love this little look. Now I'm adding in additional little features. Got to add in some like little claws. Got to add more of that Gen 1 reference, like the two-toe claws. If you know, you know. And then I got the leaf added onto the back of Derp, and I'm starting to mix the colors that I need. I'm a little disappointed I didn't play around with the green a little bit more. I didn't test it out like I did with Baria, where I tested the pink first. I didn't do that with the green, and I should have. Like, it looked like it was a good match when it was still wet, so I went ahead and moved forward with it, but then when it dried, it's not the same color, but that's okay. I'm just working on this back sail. I want to incorporate green into his design a little bit more. So just adding in all the little green on the frills, changing it from that yellow. It's also going to help keep it from fraying from where I cut it. And then I decided I'm going to change these little splooches all over Burp. There's just too many colors and I need to like kind of condense the colors. There's already a lot going on.
The colors, Duke, the colors!
And adding in so many different colored splooches is just going to be too much. So I decided I'm just going to cover the splooches, making them green. I'm also going to go in with some orange and purple just to kind of like tie all the colors together across him. And we got to add in the eyes. We got to add in those like Pokemon-esque eyes. Sticking with that orange, I thought it was a good contrast with the yellow. Really kind of like stands out in his face. Covering up more of the splooches, really starting to come together. I needed to make a little bit of a lighter yellow to try to match Burp. This one I did test and it is a much better match. So this way I can cover up where I had to cut his little back spine. And I'm kind of toning down the blush on his cheeks. Covered up some splooches because there's just so many, a little too many. Now I'm doing a little bit of black because there is some black in this one. So like I need to outline the mouth, do the eyeballs. So I got the eyes in, I outlined where the mouth is gonna sit. Now I'm going in with the purple, adding in those purple splooches all over the place. And it's really tying in together. It doesn't look so convoluted, I guess. But look at this, look at his little face. I love the little smile there. You can see like the tail isn't a perfect match, but that's okay. I think he's so freaking cute. I love this. I just need to clean up my mess now because there is so much going on. So we got a new project, and this new one is a little garden frog. So if you are not aware, Pokemon has included real animals within their universe.
It's like an aquarium. How can this be a Pokemon gym?
Mainly in the very beginning, they've kind of shied away from using any real world animals in the show, but they're still there. They have been. They are a part of the Pokemon universe. They haven't come out and outright said animals do not exist. So I'm going with animals do exist in the Pokemon world. They're just really rare. So I decided to make a little garden frog. I thought that would be kind of fun, especially with Cassie showing us her frog. I felt like I could do a little garden frog. I used to find them all the time playing in the garden when I lived in California when I was really little, these just little tiny garden frogs. That was the idea I was going for. They were like brown, some were green, but they were kind of just like little tiny frogs and they would just hop around in the flowers. And I was like, what if one landed on this guy's face?
But it's just a frog!
So that's the vibe I'm going for. Kind of like looking up how to sculpt this out of air dry clay. I haven't really used air dry clay too much, but I thought since I have sculpted before, I'm a little familiar with some sculpting. I definitely could practice some more. There's some things I would like to work on to improve, but I thought this was a good idea. So we're gonna place him on his head so he can dry in the right shape that I need. And look at how cute he is. Looks like he's looking right up at the little frog. And then after letting it dry for a day, went in with the acrylic paint. So I'm painting up the whole underside of the frog, and I'm gonna be like going for more of a realistic look on this frog because the animals that they have showed in the show looked a little bit more realistic than the Pokemon did. So I'm kind of like leaning into that, adding in like the pink and the orange yellow undertones on the bottom of the frog. And then of course we got to go in with the green, going in with this vibrant lime green, blending it all out into the legs and into the toes, into the sides. I'm going like really nice blend. I want it to look alive. I want it to look like a stereotypical frog. I want it to represent Cassie. So it's got to look really good. I did spend quite a bit of time with the blend, but I'm so happy with the way it's looking. It's got a really great color. And yeah, look at this little guy doing all the little touch-ups. So like there's a little white around the mouth, got to clean up the eyeballs. I decided to go with like a pink eye for the frog and adding in just like some little fun little details like some little veining, and then we're gonna go with the little slit pupils. And oh my goodness, he's done. Look at this little guy, and he's gonna sit right here. And I think we're gonna call the little Pokemon Vialops. Vialops for pansy, ops for face, pansy face. And with the frog sitting on it, I think this is gonna be super cute. So we gotta get this attached. Again, going in with that contact cement. And just look at this. They look like best friends. Oh my goodness, it's just So freaking cute. I love it. And it might be time for a review.
From Bear and Gregaria visca, the family strawberries belong to. The berry Pokemon, a grass type. The leaves around Beria's neck smell very strongly of fresh-cut strawberries. Royalty would build their castles near known Beria territories to be able to harvest their leaves for perfumed baths. Violops, from Violiciae, the family that pansies belong into, and ops, a suffix meaning face, like used in Triceratops. The garden dragon Pokemon, a grass and dragon type. Violops spend their time caring for flowers. They will carefully move flowers they find and arrange them into gardens around their dens. Their gardens become more complex and diverse the older they get.
They came out so cute. Oh my gosh, I love them. I cannot believe how well they came out. I'm so happy with them. Are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. There's definitely some things I would change if I knew how to sew and how to make plushies, but oh my gosh! They no longer look like Burp and Strawberry. I freaking love them. My little Poke Pals. So what do you think, though? Did you think I turned some of Moriah's characters into Pokemon? I think I did a pretty good job. They definitely don't look like Moriah characters anymore. And they do kind of got the Pokemon eyes and the Pokemon vibe. They're so cute. I freaking love them. So, I'm the one finishing off this challenge. And I gotta say, it was fun. It was different. Definitely trying some new things. Not everything went perfectly to plan. I mean, you know, this was my experimentation to see if I could even do some of the stuff I was thinking of doing and what exactly needed to change in the process. But I'm very happy with the way she came out. Like, look at her little strawberry butt. She got a cute little strawberry butt. And then not to mention, like, look at this little guy. He definitely gives off starter vibes. I wonder what his final evolutions would look like. What kind of flowers they would turn into. Because I had the idea of a pansy, because pansies are such basic garden flowers and they're so small and tiny. You know, like, the rose bushes are huge, and I could totally see, like, this guy turning into a rose. Even though, fun fact, strawberries are related to roses. But I could see him turning into, like, bigger flowers. And then his little froggy friend, look at that. Would you guys catch these? Would you make them part of your party? Would you start with them if they were starters? Let me know down in the comments. I hope you all stay safe out there. Don't get lost. Don't get stolen. Have a wonderful day. Bye, you beautiful people. Don't forget, if you haven't seen any of the other videos from this wonderful plushie makeover collab, the playlist will be down in the description.